Okay, welcome back to another video, guys. Today we are going to be going through the top 5 primaries in Helldivers 2. Now this is only my opinion, it's not factual, it's not the be all end all, it's not 100%. This is just my opinion from the weapons that I've used, time I played the game, how fun they've been, how good they've been. This is my top 5. Now, just for starters, some of these weapons are going to be great for bots, some are going to be great for bugs. They're not going to be amazing for both, although there are a few that are going to be amazing for both. But not all of these guns are going to be amazing in both of the territories. Some of them might be absolutely outrageous when it comes to taking down the bots. Some might be outrageous when it comes to taking the bugs. But I'll state which is which. So coming on to number 5, I've put the Jar Dominator. This gun shreds when it comes to the bots. And I mean, it absolutely tears them apart. I think it's in the special weapons category. It used to be in the explosive weapons category. It is a heavy hitting truck of a gun. It's mostly used in single fire rate. It has got the automatic, but it can take down your standard bots. Your Devastators don't stand a chance. You can one-shot the Devastators with perfect headshots. Even outside of that, you're taking 4 or 5 shots to really smoke them. It can take down the Factory Striders, the reinforced ones or the unreinforced ones. So in the lower difficulties, obviously you get the unreinforced ones, but it can take down the armored ones with a shot between the legs. Really, really good. You know, you're able to take them down without relying on a support weapon or grenades and stuff like that. Super fun to use. It just makes playing against the bots so not easy, but so much easier than it would be that if you were bringing like the Scorcher or the Purifier or something like that. So it definitely makes my top 5. It's not as good against the bugs. You know, it's rarely used against the bugs. It's more of a bot weapon, but it's so good against the bots that I had to put it in the top 5. Okay, at number 4, I have put the Crossbow. Now, the Crossbow prior to the buff date, I thought was rubbish. I'd used it. I tested all the weapons prior to the update and all the weapons after the update, and I thought the Crossbow was rubbish. But after the update, it's ridiculous. You know, it got an explosion radius increase of 50%. It had its explosive damage increased from 150 to 350, so over doubled in terms of damage. It can shred. It's really good on both fronts. You know, it'll clear the bots, the smaller bots, very easily. Again, Devastators get wrecked. Striders can get wrecked. It even can take out the tanks, so it can take out the Hulks. It can take out any of your tanks, your Shredder tanks. It's really good. Its single target damage is ridiculous. It's got really good crowd clear. It's great for the bots. In terms of the bugs, it's even better. It's crowd clear for any of the hunters or any of the scavengers. It just one-shots groups of them. Obviously, with the explosion radius being that little bit bigger, it wipes the floor with them. And you can find that like it takes care of chargers really well. If you can shoot just underneath the charger, between the charger's legs, it can take it out in 3 or 4 shots. You can take down Bile Titans, and it dovetails really well with some of the support weapons. So I found that like using the heavy machine gun as the support for the Crossbow works really, really well. They just synergize so well. But it synergizes with even like the sniper rifle. It synergizes with any of your kind of rockets. If you're bringing the recoilless rocket, it's really handy. Definitely though, if you're bringing the explosive crossbow, you've got to be aware of a few things. It can one-shot you if you are using some of the lighter armors and you hit one of the invisible hitboxes. Its ammo is mixed. It definitely needs more ammo per magazine. I think it's kind of like their quiver magazines or whatever they're called, but you get 5 shots, you have 8 mags, you're only getting 40 shots. It's not a lot because you'll find with the bugs you'll tear through the ammo a lot quicker than you will with the bots. But if you kind of ignore these two, it is ridiculous. And people will say, oh, the Eruptor is very good. I think it's better than the Eruptor. I personally would take it over the Eruptor any day of the week. I know you've got the drop off in the Crossbow, but I just think the shot time on the Eruptor really hurts it. And I think with the explosion damage now being increased and the damage being increased with the Crossbow, I just think it's a nailed down pick. It's one of those guns that you have to go to. So yeah, my number 4, the explosive Crossbow. So at number 3, I am going to go with the Blitzer. And man, do I love this weapon. Unlimited ammo, really easy handling. Its shot time is quick enough. It's semi-auto. Just again, infinite ammo. It's super fun to use, and it's really good against the bugs. It's got 250 damage, but more importantly, it has the small stun duration. So you hit an enemy, it's then stunned. It stops. If similar to the arc thrower stun, it's outrageous. It's just, again, I love using this. This is almost my go-to now for the bugs. You can one tap / two tap any of the brute commanders. You can one shot the stalkers if you're at the right angle. It doesn't do great damage to the chargers, but like, you know, you literally blow up the scavengers. You literally blow up any of the smaller hunters and stuff like that. The warriors or any of the brood commander warriors, again, one shot and they're done. It's really handy, and again, the unlimited ammo, and especially with the higher difficulties and the larger volume of enemies, the unlimited ammo, it might not sound great. It's so handy. You know, you're not constantly running around looking for either supplies or supply drops or any kind of the ammo boxes in smaller locations. You can just run around, kill everything. And again, the Blitzer is one of those guns that it synergizes super well with some of the support weapons. Like, you know, you can run the auto cannon for any of the bigger enemies. You can run any of the kind of grenades, like any of the either the impact grenades or any of those kind of ones. The thermite, it synergizes super well with them because it can take care of any of the smaller enemies and even some of the medium enemies, while having the grenade or the support weapon take care of the larger ones. The one sticky thing with the Blitzer is that it's got a bit of an auto target. So say you shoot the armor off the charger's leg, it's still going to target its head based on where you're standing. So it's all about positioning with the Blitzer, but it's super fun to use. It's one of those guns that you can drop in with and just, you don't need to need anything else. It can just keep going. It's non-stop, you know, it's sprint, shoot, really enjoyable. Against the bots, it's not as good. It works, but it certainly wouldn't be one that I'd recommend for the bots. I'd say it's far more of a bugs gun than anything else. But yeah, super fun. Like the medium armor penetrating, again, even the hive guards, it tears through them. I can't get past the unlimited ammo part. I just think that it's that good. Like, it's, yeah, definitely highly recommended. I'm almost running it as my main at the moment for the bugs, but yeah, definitely it's a really strong weapon. I was dovetailing, or I was contemplating whether to put it at 4 and have the crossbow above it, but genuinely, I've had so much fun with it that I had to put it at 3. I couldn't leave it out of third place. So yeah, my number 3, the Blitzer. Okay, so coming on to my number 2, it's gonna be the Cookout. I love this gun. And when it came out initially, I kind of thought, oh no, it's just gonna be another Breaker Incendiary. It's not. It's its own thing. It's really good and it's really fun. You're getting 320 damage per shot. It's only got the light armor penetration, but it's made up for it in the pellets being incendiary. So obviously your hive guards for the bugs, you're shooting everything, so it's catching fire anyway. It's got a 16 capacity with 60 total shells, recoil of 100, fire rate of 80, all this nonsense. It's good. It's definitely good, and it's fun to use. More importantly, you know, it's got a quick fire rate. You've got enough shells to get yourself by. It can take out any of the bile spewers, any of the armored bile spewers. Against the bugs, I really like this gun, and I think the incendiary bullets just add that little bit to it that some of the other guns don't have. You're able to do the initial damage and then have things just take that extra tick from the fire damage and put them down. Super good against any of kind of the patrols, so any of the smaller patrols where it's maybe the brood commanders and some warriors, or if it's the scavengers and the hunters, it just tears through them. I find it's really good as well against some of the chargers. If you can shatter that front leg armor or even the side armor, it tears through, and with the fire tick as well, you're just getting that extra little bit from the Cookout than you are from other guns. I love it. This at the moment is my go-to, purely because, again, enjoyment levels go through the roof when I use this. There are other guns out there that I think are, they're not quite at the level, but they're good, and especially in the shotgun class, there are other shotguns out there that I do enjoy using against the bugs. But in terms of just enjoyment, being able to kind of use the support weapon and not have to worry about the smaller enemies like swarming, like I find like the crowd control on this shotgun is a lot better than the crowd control on other shotguns, barring one, which is the obvious one. But I feel like the single target damage is good. the crowd control damage is good. This is where I would kind of say it splits from the Dominator on the bug side. The single target damage of the Dominator is outrageous compared to this, but the crowd control that you get from the Cookout versus the Dominator I think is a lot better. And again, the fire pellet damage, even for any of the Shriekers, you know, you're not going to hit the shots, but the little ticks of fire afterwards are going to bring the Shriekers down. So really good on the bug side. On the bot side, I think it's really good as well. I love using it against the Devastators. I love using it against the smaller enemies. Against the bigger enemies like the Striders, the armored or the reinforced Strider, it's not great. You know, you've got to switch to a support. Against the regular Striders on the lower difficulties, yeah, if you get around the back, you can one-tap them. It's good, like it's still good, and it still does damage to the backplating of some of the tanks and some of the Hulks and stuff like that. It's very enjoyable in either one. I do prefer the Punisher Plasma over this against the bots, and even some of like the counter diligence against the bots over the Cookout. But it's I'm not saying it's unusable. It's definitely still good, but it's more of a bugs weapon in my opinion than it is a bots weapon. But it's very, again, you know, if you're looking to enjoy the game, this is a gun I'd be going to. So yeah, it's taking my number 2. Okay, so just before I get on to my number 1 pick, I just wanted to give a few honorable mentions. So the Punisher Plasma could have easily made it on this list. It was a toss-up between that and the Dominator. The reason I put the Dominator on instead of the Plasma was just I've used the Dominator more, and I've had more success on the bug side with the Dominator than I have with the Punisher Plasma. Now, I think that's probably just my play style. I know that the Punisher Plasma is a very good bugs weapon as well. It's really good against the bots, but I feel like I haven't used it enough compared to the Dominator to put it in number 5. So an honorary mention for that one. The Eruptor as well. I feel the Shrapnel update coming back in the latest update, it's good. It's back to being one of those guns that you can go to and comfortably walk levels with, you know. Like I use it against the bug or against the bots a lot more than against the bugs, and I find that it still shreds against the bots. You know, if you place a well-placed shot, the Shrapnel's taking out 6 to 10 enemies at a time. It wipes the smaller guys. It wipes through some of the Devastators at times. It's good. It's still one up there, but I wouldn't say it's my top 5 at the moment. I also thought I'd give a small shout out to just the basic Liberator. The starting gun, I still think it holds up against some of the best weapons in the game. For your starting weapon to do the damage it does, to have the mag capacity it does, the number of mags, and the versatility, you know, like you can bring this in against the bugs and comfortably deal with them. You can bring it in against the bots and still comfortably deal with a lot of the smaller to mid-tier enemies, you know, like you're going to struggle when it comes up against the armored Striders or maybe the Devastators if you can't hit the head, but it does really well. It's one of those guns that I think it's quietly very underrated, and especially for a starting weapon, to have that much versatility in a starting weapon I think is really nice. And last but not least, I'm going to give a quick shout out to the Scorcher. I feel like this has fallen down the pecking order a little bit with some of the newer updates and stuff like that, but the Scorcher I still think is really good. I still think you can bring it into either one, and again, you're comfortable, you know, like if your loadout's right and you've got the right strategies with you, the right armor, you're comfortably going to be able to deal. The one thing I would say is that the ammo capacity is a little bit low on this gun. You know, it could be better. I know there was a change made to give it 20 shots instead of 15. It's now got the fully auto option, but I think it's dropped its mag capacity from, I think it was 6 to 5, but I still think it's a good gun. Not quite top 5, but it's definitely, it could be in the conversation. Okay, and then my number 1 pick for the best primaries in Helldivers 2 is going to be the Breaker Incendiary. Woo, who saw that coming? I still think it's really good. I know it had mags dropped from 6 to 5 in one of the patches a little while back. Very unpopular change to the gun, and I thought it was going to kind of take it out of the spotlight. It didn't. It's still really good. If you go onto the bug side, the majority of players are still using the Breaker Incendiary. It's ridiculous. For the mag capacity it had, I think it's 24 shots. You know, you're getting, I think it's like 16 pellets per shot. You're hitting everything and anything. You're taking out swarms of hunters, swarms of scavengers in, you know, 2 or 4 shots. Just the Shriekers, they don't exist when you have the Breaker Incendiary. You're wiping out entire swarms of them again with a few shots, and they're just random shots into the air. It's not like one of those guns that you need to be really accurate with. You just can spray with this and everything just disappears. It's really good against the Brood Commanders. You know, you're going for half to 3/4 of a mag to take down a Brood Commander. Same with the Bile Spewers. But if you're smart with it, you know, and if you have the time, you can genuinely shoot, let the fire damage tick, shoot, let the fire damage tick over and over, and they will just burn out, and you're only spending about 6 to 8 shots per Bile Spewer, you know? So it's It's outrageous, I think, on the bug side. It's almost, I would almost say it's in a bit of a broken category. I genuinely think that the mag capacity update that they made, where they brought it from 6 to 4, while super unpopular, was genuinely necessary to allow other guns to have a chance at even getting in. There was a point where I think that the devs came out and said that the Breaker Incendiary had a usage rate of almost 40%. You know, if you looked at a game and you said that one in every 2 players is bringing the Breaker Incendiary, you'd be kind of going, that must be broken. Like, that gun has to be broken for everybody to be bringing it. So it's taking my number 1 for the bugs alone. For the bots, I still think it performs ridiculously well as well. The spray effect that it has and the rate at which you can just shoot. When you compare it against the Cookout has the shoot and pump action. The Breaker has just the shoot. You can empty the clip. You can empty the 24 shots or the 20 shots that you have in the mag in seconds. You know, you can burn through the ammo very quickly, and it's very easy to use on the bots as well. You know, you have Devastators getting up close and personal. Too bad, you just unload. You can do damage from range because they'll still take the fire tick damage. So even if you're not hitting the head, you're still getting that fire tick with the Breaker as you would with the Cookout. I just find that you can fire the Breaker a lot quicker. Even the smaller enemies, you know, any of the smaller kind of drones and the smaller foot enemies, it just tears through. The only thing I'd say is, again, on the bot side, is that you're limited against Hulks, you're limited against the tanks, and you're limited against, more importantly, on the higher difficulties, the Striders. So the reinforced Striders, you need a support weapon, you need a grenade, you need something else, or a secondary maybe, because the Breaker Incendiary, it only has the light armor piercing. But I still think it holds up super well in the bots. I wouldn't say it's probably top 3 for the bots. I'd say you're looking maybe top 5. I would say that you have the Jar, the Jar, Dominator, maybe the Punisher, Plasma, and I would say even maybe the Counter Diligence could be in the top 3. But I'd say you're probably getting top 5, top 7 category maybe. But for the bugs, I would say it's my out and out number 1. Now, it's not my go-to at the moment. I've used it so much that I've genuinely just said, enough's enough. I've had too much fun with this gun, time to experience everything else. But it's, yeah, 100% easily my top gun in the game at the moment. So that's my list. They're my 5. Again, it's not fact-based. It's just opinion. These are the guns I've used. These are the guns I've enjoyed, more importantly. And I think enjoyment's a big thing in the game. These guns make the game fun. They don't make it easy. They make it fun. You know, you can kind of play and not have to worry about, oh my god, like, you know, I've got swarms and I'm gonna get swamped. They'll take care of it, you know. So that's my top 5. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and maybe drop a like and subscribe if you would. But that's it for now. Thanks a lot. Peace.